Hey guys, my name is the Goof Noob and I upload daily videos about aviation. Today we will talk about the de Havilland Comet. If this name sounds familiar, it's because I mentioned it in yesterday's video. Unlike the Saunders Roe Princess, this plane was going to be the future of aviation. But was it really an airliner that you wanted to fly on? Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Many people consider the era before jet-engine airliners the golden age of aviation, but it wasn't amazing to fly on a turboprop. The constant noise and vibrations from the piston engines were unbearable, and flights would take much longer than they do today. Propeller planes couldn't fly to high altitudes either, so if there was a storm, you were in for a bumpy ride. But in 1949, out of nowhere, along came a new aircraft. It was sleek, quiet, and it could fly at almost twice the speeds of a conventional airliner. It could also avoid bad weather because it cruised at 40,000 feet. This was the de Havilland Comet, and it proved that jet airliners were the future of aviation. This created a lot of excitement throughout the world, but that excitement would be short-lived. Many people, before the release of the de Havilland Comet, questioned the capabilities of jet engines. Many airlines thought that jet engines produced too little power relative to their fuel consumption. In fewer words, airlines just thought that jet engines were not as reliable as turboprops. Whilst the Comet was in development, there were many false models that were developed to throw off the competition. But when the Comet was released, it stunned the world. Even today, the design of this plane looks futuristic. This sent a message to the world saying that Britain, after all, had superiority in the world's airspace. Even in the US, where many people and airlines were still skeptical about the jet airliner, America's main airline, Pan Am, ordered about 20 Comets. This plane was much more efficient than the conventional planes of that era because at 40,000 feet, where it cruised, the air was thinner and that reduced drag. The cabin of the plane also had to be pressurized. This was not something new. Older turboprops had pressurized cabins. The twist was that no plane had ever been pressurized at this altitude. This aircraft went into service in 1952, and it began shattering previous speed and distance records, making it a point of national pride for the British public. Unfortunately, the Comet was too ahead of its times, and it had a lot of new problems and design flaws that de Havilland had to deal with. In fact, there were flaws with the electrical and hydraulic systems, and when two Comets skidded off the runway, the pilots were blamed. Some changes had to be made to the wings, but the world was still very enthusiastic about jet-powered planes, and the British would never let go of their dream to revolutionize air travel. But just 2 months later, there was another incident that was much more catastrophic. A comet taking off from Calcutta in India disintegrated while flying through a severe thunderstorm. And a few months later, another comet exploded while taking off from Rome. After this series of incidents, BOAC, the airline with the most comets, had no choice but to ground all of their comets. Engineers thought that these incidents were due to a turbine explosion in one of the engines, so the engine housing got reinforced. But public confidence was still high. When the aircraft went back into service, airlines had no problem with selling seats. Yet, 3 months later, another comet disintegrated over the Sicilian island of Stromboli. After this incident, the whole world was forced to ground their fleets of comets because they had lost their airworthiness. Investigation began, and this revealed that sudden depressurization of the cabin caused the comets to explode in midair. No comet would ever fly again, and even if de Havilland constantly made modifications to their planes, the rest of the world began to catch up. And in 1958, the Boeing 707 and the Douglas DC-8 entered in service. That same year, the de Havilland Comet 4 went into service, but it couldn't compete with the American offerings that received hundreds and even thousands of orders. So that's it for today. That's the story of the de Havilland Comet, a great plane that turned out to be a failure in the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a video. Thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow!